This is Dennis Seitzma, Dennis John Seitzma Productions, Homestead, Florida, USA, south of Miami, north of Florida City, where the Florida Turnpike ends, north of Key Largo, about 20 miles. This is my project van, 1994 Astro van, and this generation of van with the 4L60E transmission has a safety feature in this generation called the BTSI solenoid. And if you've ever replaced an ignition switch on one of these, GM used this scenario in the early version of the 4L60E. In later versions, they put the this is a safety feature. They put the safety feature right on the transmission, on the shift selector shaft. And the problem with this generation is if this shorts out, you blow a fuse and you lose your windows, and it also has a VSS amplifier there for the speed, so you lose your speedometer reading, so you don't know how fast you're going. In later versions of the 4L60E, they put the safety feature on the transmission, and it's recommended that you just take the switch off rather than try to pull a connector loose, because you can break the connector. And you also have to do some filing to get the switch off, and if that shaft is worn, it's a good idea to replace that shaft. And it is peened or whatever when they put it on, so you can do damage to the switch if you don't know these things. But I'm not a transmission expert. I'm just a do-it-yourself aficionado enthusiast. And on this vehicle, I also had the ignition switch burning out when I put the air conditioner on high, so I've added a isolation switch for the air conditioning. And instead of running that circuit through, well, I still run it through the ignition switch, but I take the load side of that circuit to activate this battery isolation relay, 80 amp, like you'd get from any audio stereo shop. But anyway, I just wanted to point out the differences between the earlier generation of 4L60E and the later. And this BTSI feature, the way it's designed is to prevent accidental starting of the vehicle when it's in gear. And it's got a little poker on this steering column that causes it to engage with this solenoid, and it senses whether you've got the vehicle in gear or not, so it takes some adjustment. But when you replace the switch, do the bolt on the ignition switch, the one closest to the firewall, adjust the ignition switch, and then the front bolt is used to mount the BTSI, and the rear bolt is, well, let me show you on the old switch. And the old switch was burnt on the A pin, but the old switch, the BTSI, the rear screw is a either sheet metal or you can use a standard screw with a nylon locking nut or whatever, however you want to do it. But these mounting screws for the switch, as far as I can discern, those are SAE 10-24, and I used a 5/16 spanner to do that. And anyway, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy the video. Give it a thumbs up if it had any information useful to you. If you're working on transmissions, realize that it may not be a transmission problem. It could be a problem with the vehicle, especially the problems I've pointed out with this generation of Astro vans. If you check the fuse block and you're missing any voltages, the fused links fail behind the battery where they go through the firewall, and I connect those directly to the battery. I don't bypass the fused links. I don't run them through the firewall to get power. I power them from the battery positive terminal. And this scenario is on a lot of General Motors trucks of this vintage. In later years, they did the VSS different. They put the amplifier in the transmission, which means you have to have power to the transmission. in the 4L60E, and they also did it differently with the safety feature. They put it right on the transmission, and that requires adjustment to crank and start the van. So I hope this information is useful to somebody. Good day.